LJN Fight Night Podcast. Hosted by The Plan, Zash Man. The Victorian Brother, Brutus Valentine. And everyone's favorite man, all up in smoke, Duarte the Pond. Ladies and gentlemen, they're ready to rumble, so let's go to the studio. Take it away, Zash Man.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for watching wherever you are around the world. It's Demonstration LJN Custom Lesson Fight Night Podcast. What a mouthful. Brutus, Duarte,
Yes.
how are you, boys?
Yeah,
How's
long
it going?
time no see, gentlemen. Yep.
Yeah, that's right. He wasn't on last week, right? Or last time?
We went away for the weekend. First time for ages. It was beautiful and sunny. It was
Nice.
nice to have a break.
You got a tan.
Yeah, I'm always red. Yep.
Browner than me at the moment.
See, you can see the redness there. Oh, no. Normally my face, because of the light, is about the color of Duarte's shirt.
Yeah, eh?
Hey,
A nice maroon.
you're not in landscape today. You're in. Are you on your computer for a change?
Who,
Instead
me?
of your laptop? No, Duarte. I mean, Brutus.
No,
He's
I'm
normally
on
in
the iPad. Is it
I-
normally like that? Or
No, I don't know. I think it looks good
I
anyway.
think it's
Leave it.
like that. I tell you what's going to happen is I'm going to run out of charge before the end of the show because the PowerPoint's not long enough to click in.
We're in 2022. What the fuck is wrong with you?
And
Kmart has long extension cords. They're
yeah,
like
but
$10.
I had a look just before and it's not ready.
Well, plug the bloody thing in. There must be a PowerPoint near you somewhere. We don't
It
need that as a backdrop.
It's not long enough.
Well, go near a PowerPoint. It's easy solved. It's not that when. Oh dear God. Anyway, we'll keep going. While Brutus works out a way to charge his device that he's doing the podcast on.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's custom lesson LJN demo. Oh, I'm not going through it all again. We're going to be doing demonstrations. We've got Joey Bags from Joey Bags.
Sick with it.
Bags.
There you go.
We've got Mark Cochran from Head Gimmicks, and he's going to be doing two cameras, one on his beautiful face and one on his figure. And we've got Claudio Pirelli. Fucking hell, I've stuffed that one up, haven't I? He's coming on to also do it. And Anthony Rossi, he's called in sick because he has to work. Look, Brutus, plug it into power, not yourself, mate. Brutus will sort that out. Let's get our special guest on. Joey Bags, welcome.
Hey guys, how's it going?
And Claudio.
Hey guys, how's everybody?
We are awesome. We are fantastic.
Bruce is over there like an episode or one of the family vacation movies over there.
Brutus is struggling right there.
He is. I almost tore up his skirt then. Brutus,
He's like Chevy Chase trying to plug in Christmas lights.
we've already got some messages coming through. Guys. So everyone who's watching, pump out the questions. Ask these guys what they're doing and why they're doing it. Let's get on with the show. Joey,
Remember,
what are you doing?
no one cut their fingers.
No one.
No one
cut
cut.
It was already done Sunday, so you should be fine.
We want to see some fingers cut, boys. Let's get some action going. Joey Bags, what are you doing for us today?
So I have figures that I'm going to be. Well, I have about 3 figures I'm doing, cutting up different parts, arms, legs, torsos, and going to be attaching them to make some jobbers that someone has ordered.
Nice.
Nice. Okay, fantastic. Looking forward to that.
Who are-
Mark, what are you
who are-
doing for
Sorry.
You said
Mark.
What are you doing for us, Mark?
you cut out, so just all of a sudden it was on me. So I'm
I've got a couple figures. I'm just gonna do some adhesion to the heads on, and then I'm gonna sculpt the seams on the head of one, and maybe sculpt some elbow pads.
Love it. Okay, Claudio.
I've
What are
got
you
I've got a British Bulldog here that I'm working on, and at the same time, I've got one of those mid head, the Mark Henry. So I'll be working on Mark Henry on the body where I had to shave off some of the side tits. So that's the one.
Nice.
Side tits.
Nice. All right, boys, you get yourself set up, get your camera set up. Let's start this thing rolling. While we're waiting for you all to set up, Brutus, tell us something.
Yes. I'm still trying to get things going. Tell you something about anything, or
No, I wanted the card backs that you were supposed to talk about.
yeah. Remember, if we go back a few shows, we were looking at the evolution of the cards, starting with just a quick memory: 5-back, no trademarks, narrow blister. Oh, that's the stand. Here we go. Narrow blister, first card. And then we had the next series of cards, which of course had the stands. And we still got no trademarks, wide blister. Then after that, the next series kept the wide blisters. This is how you can identify where your early figures come from. So instead of changing the blisters back to narrow, they kept them wide. Still, we have no trademarks, and we still have the first call to action. Now, this one actually isn't a 5-back. I don't have a 5-back Hogan in that. This is an 8-back, but it's one of the first 8-back releases, so around about November 1995. And then you'll find the next ones switch the call to action. They'll have the trademarks, and then they'll have the trademarks on the back. And this one, because it's an 8-back, has the trademarks on the back. So, gentlemen, just to summarize, first cards. No,
Sorry.
next
Dying
cards,
here.
Just checking you're still alive, mate. Just
I'm
checking.
dying here.
Next cards, wide blister with the stand, and thereafter they kept the wide blister, but of course they ditched the stands, and we're still dealing with 1995. Oh, sorry,
Put them side by side, if you can. Don't drop them. And you can tell I don't know, is the fading of the plastic different, or is just as age? Probably just age.
Done.
This one looks a little bit, but it's just a fading thing.
Hmm.
Okay.
All right, well, beautiful little lesson on the cards.
So how does it feel to open one? Are you going to open up one or no?
Well, you open your Morocco. Maybe I should open this one. This one's no good to get
Do
the
it.
stand out, because I don't.
I would
have
do
a
it. You should do it.
Oh, sorry.
I was going to tell you, if you were about to rip that, I was going to go, stop!
Actually, one of these is actually quite damaged. This one, he's got a big hole, but I keep it because it's an 8-back, and so if I find that I come across another one and it's the different card series, then I thought, well, I might as well just keep that anyway, since I bought it all those years ago. All those years ago, not 1985, of course, but I don't know, 2013 or something.
Okay, brilliant. Well, there's a little lesson for everyone to start the show. Guys, I'm going to shoot over to the customizers.
Put on Joey Bags. I want to see what is that, the glove, the metal glove?
All right, let's shoot over to Joey.
Yeah, so I can't cut my hand.
Jesus
Joey.
Christ.
Joey's hacking.
He's got the knife.
Glove.
He's got the glove. That's why he could do it. Jesus.
I think they're called. And
Get into it, Joey.
Oh, man.
You okay there, Duarte, man?
Yeah, I'm just saying. It's the way he's.
A midget wrestler. You can't say much of. This will be a fun show. Let's shoot over to Claudio. What are you up to there, Claudio? Oh, that's
Just, uh,
here he is.
Just attaching the head there, trying to get into the grooves. What I want to do is actually replicate this torso. I have this figure of Bulldog, so I want to
That's-
replicate this part as well.
What figure's that?
This is the Unmatched Fury, which I got years ago. I've got like pretty much the whole set. It's a really nice figure. It's almost the same comparable size to LJNs.
Hmm.
Just a little leaner, maybe slightly shorter.
Yeah, I think exactly. But it depends on which ones. Like this one might be almost the same size, but if you compare to Bret Hart, it is a lot shorter than the other one. Ric Flair is a lot smaller as well. Razor Ramon was an amazing figure, but they just butchered his face on that one. But the
I see
figure
you-
was really nice.
You've mixed up a hell of a lot of putty there. You planning to use all that?
Yeah, because I have to make the grooves on the tights and then the abdomen, and then I have to also work on this one as well.
How's the temperature where you are, Claudia?
It's not so bad. It's fresh. It's about, I think today was about 12, 15 degrees Celsius.
So your
But
putty's not going to harden up on you too fast?
No, that's why I try to mix it every once in a while to massage it.
Beautiful. We've got a question here. A couple of questions. We're going to shoot over to the first one. So Facebook user says, asking my question earlier, I have to go to bed, but my wife's repaints of my LJNs, what color skin? We can't get it right on the $1 Million Man. Thanks, guys. $1 Million Man.
I use a custom mix from Bear.
Yeah.
I'm happy to share it if anybody wants it.
He's quite a pale figure, isn't he? Yeah.
When I did mine, I mixed up a lot of colors until I got it. I don't remember what the mix is. I've started using Mark shared 2 or 3 of these colors with me, and I started using them, and they came out really good for other figures. But the $1 Million Man, I had to just mix until I got the right color.
Okay. Anyone else with some tips on the skin color there? Dwight, Joey?
The $1 Million Man, no, because I wouldn't know how to get the skin tone. But I would make my own skin tone at that point, right? If you're gonna touch it up,
I mean, I always start with the Citadel Canadian flesh tone,
Yeah,
and go from there.
Yep. And you can lighten it up. You can darken it. Do what the hell you want. Just experiment. My answer would be to that. Mix it up on a piece of paper and or a plate or whatever you mix it on, palette, and just do it till you get the color right. That's the best way to learn is just by mixing the colors and finding out what changes what to what.
And what I'd say from a different point of view, whatever you do, you'll do it better because the $1 Million Man's face is a horrible color. The paint,
Yeah,
the paint tone is terrible.
So, Mark, what are you up to?
Just glued this head on. Oh, is my body over here? So I'm just using 2-part putty epoxy. It's just a plumbing epoxy. Get it at Lowe's or Home Depot. All I'm doing is just mixing this up, sticking it in the once it's kind of mixed in there, just stick it in the hole. And I'm taking it on this one. I'm just going to be literally just squishing it on there. I'll let that set up, and then later on I'll come back and I'll add some seaming to the sides. So like this one already been glued, so I just need to come in and add some seams there, basically seal it up so it makes it look a little bit more smooth. And I'll do that in a minute on this other one.
And the plumbing epoxy, why do you use that over?
I use this because it has a 20-minute work time and it dries really fast. This will be done, and before we're done with the show, this will be hard. And then I can come back in like 15, 20 minutes and start sculpting on it.
That's actually
Whereas the Aves fix it right here. It's a little harder than the Aves epoxy sculpt, but it's same stuff basically. It has like a 2-hour work time, 3-hour work time.
So how long does it take to dry? He says that what you're using there, that plumber epoxy, whatever it is.
It's about 20 minutes. You really get about 10 minutes of work time. It says 20 minutes, but it's about 10 minutes of work time.
Nice.
And it starts getting really too firm to use. And I'll use it in a pinch, like those figures I did for the competition. I actually did them all with this. I went through and just mixed the crap load of this a little bit at a time, just like like this much at a time. I was just mixing, sculpting, and by the time I'm done sculpting one area, the other area was dry, and I can come back and sculpt over it again. So it was quick access, basically. allowed me to do it really because I waited to the last second to do those in like the last like 12 hours or whatever it was.
Yeah, especially the way you work, always everything last minute. You found the best tool for you to use for sure. To if you have zero time left, you have everything left. Good for you.
See, I use this like on this figure. I also use this for the elbow pads. This is the Aves, and so I'll mix out a amount of it that looks like it's adequate for the elbow pad, and then I'll just form it on there.
Yeah.
So it kind of looks like it's going to be thick, but when I'm done with this, it'll actually be pretty thin.
What figure you're making? Like what size? That's not an LJN size, is it?
This is not LJN. It's what I call like the round 5 MMA figure style. It's about a 6-inch figure. It's about 20% bigger than a Hasbro, 25% bigger than a Hasbro. So I printed these kind of Hasbro style, but they're printed a little bigger. It's not quite LJN, and that's about 6 inches, somewhere in there. So I need to readjust what I'm doing here. I'm trying to hold this in front of the camera, so so like I need to put a little bit in this area for the elbow crevice, then I'll spin that out. I don't know if y'all can even see that.
And you can sand it as well. You said right away.
Oh yeah, this is fully sandable. This is the Ave. So this one dries as far as around here. It's got about a 3-hour work time, and it'll start getting too firm to work with around 3 hours. And then I don't know, 4 or 5 hours, you can come back and start sanding it and doing that stuff. Actually got this going a little thicker than I wanted, but what I'll do is press it out, and then I'll cut my lines. So I'm actually pressing out the shape I want, and then I'll come back and do some lines on it, so that way it gets kind of the way I want it to be.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we want to welcome to the podcast the great Kevin Scott, Rattlesnake.
I'm in.
He's here. I had a link that wasn't working. Kevin picked up on the other link. So welcome to the show, mate. What are you doing for us today?
All right, I'm doing a Texas guy named Awesome Kong from the early 80s. He was a world-class wrestler at the Sportatorium, and then he went to WCW and was managed by Harley Race. So I needed kind of a big head, so I took a leftover head from my sumo wrestler, put a mask on him, and I'm using Bundy because they were about the same size. So I flipped his arms up. He's going to be in all black, so I'm going to be moving pretty quick. But I'll have to do the sanding later on. So I'm going to attach the head tonight, show everybody how I do it.
And you switched to hands too, no?
Yeah, I put 2 different fists on there.
Nice. It changes the figure right away with just a couple things.
Can you see the mask?
Yeah, I see it. Put it closer if you can. Okay, yeah, that's pretty good.
Okay.
What's the guy's name?
I don't know why it's so damn bright in here.
Now you look great.
Wherever you go.
But I got me a little makeshift studio here.
Who's
TV trays.
What's the name of the guy? I want to check him out. I have no idea who it is.
Awesome Kong.
What's his name? Sorry.
Awesome Kong. Somebody uses his name nowadays, but he was Awesome Kong in the 80s.
Okay, yeah. I got you.
He was primarily a Texas guy, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's from Waco.
I know. I've seen him at the GWF I went to years ago at the Sportatorium.
And he was managed by Harley Race at WCW. So
yeah, I remember that.
He had a decent run.
Okay. Well, while you're setting up there, Kevin, I'm just going to show a couple of pics of a pic of your latest figure.
All right.
So this one got over really well in our group, in the Elite Customs group, and I'm sure he got over in every other group. Nice, clean custom of Kevin's favorite wrestler. What's his name again?
Harry Von Erich.
Harry Von Erich.
Tornado.
So what we notice about the cleanness of this, and I just want to show you guys out there, especially the beginners, when you're doing a custom, it's the little things that matter. So you can see with the legs that it's going to be a noisy podcast. We're going to have these grinders and stuff going, but that's part of the character of this show. You can see with the legs, the first thing I noticed with this custom right here is that on a steamboat, you've got all these lines that show it's kind of like the pants. What a lot of people do is just paint the trunks on, leave all this here, leave all the lines there. What Kevin's done is he's shaped them into like legs by using some kind of sander or maybe a Dremel or sanding it by hand. Is this a rubber figure or a resin figure, Kevin?
All rubber.
All rubber. So can you just explain to the guys how you sort of shape these legs to get rid of a lot of these lines and make them look like actual legs rather than tights?
So in the crotch area, it's got these wrinkles that definitely wouldn't be on quadriceps. So I had to grind those off and smooth it out. And then I epoxied the knee pads on there.
Yeah. And
I hate those boots. So I had a junkyard dog left over. I put JYD boots on there.
Nice.
So as you can see, it's the little things that matter, and people do spot these little things. They may not always mention it.
Check your messenger, and I've got the prototype.
If you want to know who's the culprit, what are you doing?
So, one thing Joe Gatter taught me was just grinding the neck all the way down when you're going to attach a head. So I just sand it with my Dremel, get it nice and flat before I add the head on, and then, fill it in with milliput.
And who are the jobbers you're making?
What's that?
And who are the jobbers that you're making? The jobbers, you said you're making jobbers.
So I'm making Jose Rivera, Mario Mancini, and Cousin Luke.
Oh, yes.
No. Sorry, guys. Trying to get my video in here.
Get out of here.
This is going to be a great podcast. We've got grinders, we've got families around. This is awesome. So you're choosing to sand that down rather than cut it with a blade, Joey?
Yeah, I just use the Dremel to sand it right down. It makes it nice and smooth, and then I use a smoother one to make it a little bit. I start with a rough sander, and then I do a smooth sand on top of it.
Got you, mate. Well, you keep sanding that. We'll look forward to your finishing.
Yep.
With the sander. Marky Mark. Oh, Marky Mark. Let's see what you're doing.
So I just set up an elbow pad. I got sticky stuff on here. The epoxy didn't dry. I got glue epoxy on there. It's messing with me.
Yeah, you
But
don't
I
knock
just
around
got the elbow pad.
that pad, would you?
Oh yeah, I can see that. I'm trying to get it where you can see. So I added a bunch of little details in it. There, and I'm in the process of sculpting the wristband. So I'm just coming back and cutting the line for the wristband. Try to even it up.
Keep them questions coming, everyone. You guys should make a Pat McPhee. I had an incredible WrestleMania. Has anyone done one of him yet?
I have his head.
Yeah? Well,
Yeah.
anyone want to go ahead gimmicks? Chad, when cutting and adjusting the arms, you just cut straight as possible, or do you go on any type of angle? Well, for me, it would depend on what you're doing, but
Yeah.
you could do it on angles, or you could do it. It depends on what angle you want the arm and so forth. There's a million answers to that one. Do whatever you think, mate. If you think it will look seamless, then have a go at it. If you cut it wrong, you can always do something to fix it.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah,
do
you
or
can
die.
always Go back.
Yeah. never stress too much about it. Just look at what angle you think is right, and if you get it wrong, then reassess it. But
What
Yeah.
I actually do for arms is sorry.
no, you go,
Right.
Claudia.
I have a small Street Fighter figure. What I do here, so I place his arms and get an idea of the pose I want, and then I can sculpt based on what poses I put on this guy.
Nice.
Okay, Claudio, tell me you're making a Ken from Street Fighter.
I should,
No.
shouldn't I? I'm not, but I should actually. Now that you mention it,
It's like it's so strange because the past few nights I've been working on a Chun Li.
oh really?
Yeah, and
That's awesome.
I was hoping it should be ready by now, but I'm going to need another couple of days with it. But yeah, I'll be bringing out a Chun Li in a day or two. So there you go.
Would you get the head from? You made it or?
No, mate, yeah, I just printed it. I printed it. Yeah,
Oh, that's gonna be cool to see.
yeah, it's not too bad.
I think I know
He's
where
gotta,
you're
put that on, he's gotta put that on mute, eh?
I think he's going to be doing that the whole episode. I feel like I'm at the dentist.
Yeah.
Someone unplug it quick.
Here's the head I'm using for Jose Rivera. So I'm gonna sand off all of Steamboat's hair and go from there.
Awesome. Are you going to be doing sanding the hair off tonight?
No, I'll probably get all these pieces attached, but I won't be doing the hair with the clay tonight.
Beautiful. Okay. Over to the Texas rattlesnake.
All
What are you
right.
doing next, mate?
So when I'm attaching the heads, I put the head where I want it to go. And I take me a marker, mark it right there. Then I'm going to line it up to the hole I drilled. Make sure it lines up. And that's my head placement.
Bloody beautiful. Hey, you guys can't hear that drill anymore, can you?
No.
No.
I worked out a way to mute Joey Bags. Bloody brilliant. Grind all night, mate. We don't care anymore.
That one's not allowed.
I don't know whether he's talking to us. That's the only thing. He might be finished. Let's have a look. Yes, he stopped. Great. What's that you've got there, mate? Looks like some kind of vibrator.
Cordless Dremel.
Cordless Dremel.
Yeah, they're smaller, easier to work with.
And you got the one that Joey's using.
His is freaking gas powered. All right, so I get the depth of the. I use the bamboo skewers.
Okay.
They're plenty strong. So I drill the head between the shoulders where I need it. Got the hole ready. So I'm going to cut the stick and glue it in. My choice of glue is Loctite. Never gives me any problems.
Sound like you're doing a commercial for him.
Yeah, I thought this is commercial time.
Loctite.
Don't get it on your fingers, mate.
Maybe I can get them to sponsor us.
Now, what made you get the holes in line before you did this?
I put the head where I want it, and then I lift the chin up slightly and put a dot from the front view. And then I lift the side of the head and make sure the dot's where I want to be from the side view. And then it lines perfectly.
Okay.
Then I'm going to check the length of the stick. Need to trim a little bit. All right, so that's the length of the stick I need. The head's ready to go on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to super glue both ends of the stick so the head and the body are in place. And I'll put a little bit of epoxy around the neck area later on and then smooth it out. But for now, I'm just putting the figure together.
Yeah, nice.
I've got a Jesse Ventura hand here.
Yeah.
And in this hand, it's somebody's fist, but I cut the wrist at an angle. So it's like a mirror image of Jesse's hand.
So tell me, with the arms, we had a question from Shad earlier about placement of the arms and stuff. I see you've epoxied the arms off. Can you just take us through the steps on what you did to swap the angles of them arms?
I went from the armpit up, and here's something. LJNs are not perfectly symmetric. Bundy has a gigantic left arm and a skinny right arm. Can you see that?
Yep.
So I'm either going to have to build up the armpit on this side or grind the biceps down off of this side. I'm going to get the arms closer in size. But his arms are way off. He's got a big one and a little one.
Yep. Now, did you use super glue on the arms and the same way as you do on the head with the skewers?
Yeah. And then I came in with epoxy last. So he's glued in and epoxied in.
Do you ever have the arms cracking or the epoxy cracking?
No, not yet.
Okay, well, you're doing something right then.
And there's always a debate whether to use milliput or epoxy from Abe's. I like them both, but since I'm in America, I buy the epoxy because that milliput shit's like $15 a box.
Yep.
Hey, Kevin, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I get the on Tuesdays. Hobby Lobby has milliput. Usually free shipping and like 50% off if you spend more than like $50.
Huh.
So like once a month, I'll order like 8 to 10 things of milliput.
Now, good little tip for people.
Yeah, it's a real good idea.
There we go. Sponsor number 2, Hobby Lobby.
Yeah,
Or
so
you
it's
can really
about $7 a box. And that's for the fine white.
Free delivery, one Tuesday a month. Get on it.
$50 more, easy spend. And while you're at it, don't forget to pick up your Loctite. Every Texan rabbit.
All right, Claudia, what you up to, buddy?
I'm working on the boots now, adding those. What do they call them?
The
These things
tassels?
here. The
Tassels,
tassels,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So
Nice.
I pretty much ran out of the epoxy. I have to mix some more.
She did
Got
it
a
in
bunch
3
down
levels.
on that plate there, man.
Yeah, exactly. Because I tried to replicate. Again, I'm basing on this figure here, and as you can see, they're
Okay,
done.
I see what you did.
Yeah, because on I did the same thing on Warrior. I went by level, but that's when I first started. So what I used to do is put my piece of epoxy and then cut it and then stick. And now just stick it and then just do with an X-Acto knife the patterns.
Yeah.
So it kind of looks like this.
Looks really good, man.
That
Thanks,
looks
man.
really good. You're doing a great job of that. You
Thank
really
you,
are.
sir.
Can I throw a tip on what he's doing?
Yeah, sure.
So the 5 or the little 20-minute epoxy that I have, the little plumbing epoxy stuff, that makes a great base if you're trying to do stuff like those tassels. You can base it up and stick in the area and then let it harden and come back with your edges, and you won't have to use as much waves on it. And it's 20 minutes.
I hear you.
Mute that guy.
Sorry, I couldn't
Who
hear
is
you.
it? I'm trying to figure out who it is.
Come on. You know who's grinding. There's only one guy grinding right now.
Man, that sounds like you're cutting into a safe.
Yeah.
It's Dr. Isaac Yankum.
Hey, it's that Joey Bags again. All right.
What were you saying? It was Mark, right?
Yeah. So if you use like the 20-minute epoxy,
Uh-huh.
20-minute epoxy putty, you can use that as a base and get kind of your thickness, and it's also good for hair too. If you're sculpting hair or something thick, use that stuff as a base. Get kind of a solid base for yourself. Let it harden because it hardens really fast, and then you can come back with your A's or your Milliput and just add the details in. That way, you don't have to use as much of the expensive stuff.
That's the plumber putty you mentioned, right?
Yeah.
I have to go check that out actually. Cool.
It sucks because it only has a 20-minute work time, so you don't want to cut off a whole lot of it at once. But it's nice for certain things, and I also use it for a lot of adhesion stuff. It's very good for gluing stuff together.
Well, it's good for necks and stuff because the thing is, I did my neck first, but then I have to always go back and replace it because I start working on the rest of it.
That's why I use that for the necks, is because it gets hard really fast, and then I can come back by and like add a seam and different stuff and kind of thin it or thicken it up and shape it and that sort of thing.
No matter how much you concentrate, you always accidentally put your finger in the wet putty, don't you? After you've got it perfect. Hey, I'm finding this really satisfying what you're doing there, Claudio. It's I could sit there and watch that. Have you ever thought about wetting the blade while you do that? Because when I do it, it kind of drags it sometimes. If the blade's wet, it'll go through it smoother.
Yeah, and you can't see it, but the epoxy is actually a bit wet, so it doesn't like drag it out. But yeah.
All right. You're way ahead of me.
Oh no, well, it's tricks you learn as you go along, right?
Yeah,
exactly. Spit can be a thing that's very useful as well.
Just give a loogie right away.
Well, with paintbrushes, sometimes instead of just using water to make the tip pointy again, that's what I do.
Well, it's a useful tool.
That's what I'm doing with my sculpting.
Still going. We'll mute him a bit longer. Okay, Mark, over to you. You're doing your pads. I like the way you're doing your little creases.
Yeah.
Can you show us an example of how you crease them?
Yeah. What tool do you use?
I'm just using a box cutter knife, and I just kind of find I've already put the creases in that from the previous side, but I just kind of press them in there. Not really a whole lot to it. Just kind of do some random creases in there, and then usually you see a couple little like fanned out creases in the front where the knee pad bends. So do that, and then I'm just kind of shaping the edges, get them flat. That way I don't have a weird wonkiness there.
In the past couple of years, people have really taken the details to the next level. And one of them is things like putting creases in pads and so forth. You didn't see much of it a couple of years ago, but now the details are really coming out in people's sculpting, which I love seeing.
Yeah, it's trying to make everything look different, right? So it's not the same thing over and over again. That's right. It's not, so it doesn't look competitive. Like just slight changes a figure right away.
Just like that small detail I picked up on Kevin's custom, of Kevin Von Erich. It was that small detail that caught my eye straight away on the pants. I look for that whenever I see a steamboat. I look for the pants, and I think, have they done anything to change, the creases in the pants? Little details like that make or break a figure.
I'm trying to look for a figure I did this on. You know what I started using for my wristbands and knee pads? Heat shrink that you put around the electrical wire.
I've seen that before.
I just can't find. I'm trying to find.
For what?
For wristbands and knee pads. Heat shrink.
Yep.
Yeah.
This kind of stuff.
Great idea.
So you just cut it the way you want it. You put it around your finger, and then you heat it up, and it looks great. I just can't find the figure I was working on right now, and I had it this morning. But it looks for wristbands. It looks good because sometimes the wristbands come out a bit thick because of the putty. But with those ones, they look like. If I find it, I'll just call out to you guys. But
yeah, it's a very, very, very good tip.
That was the custom hack that I never filmed that I was supposed to send you.
Right. Okay.
There it is. And there's the grinder again.
I've been muting him nearly the whole episode. Let's have a look at what he's doing. We can't hear him, but we can see him. So if you're talking, Joey, we can't hear you because we muted you.
I'm seeing sparks.
He's crying. He's sharpening up something. I love you, Joey. Oh, he's really. Oh, hold on, mate. You're muting. I'm unmuting you. Talk to us.
No,
Okay,
I just like to when I'm attaching a top and a bottom. Here, I like to use a thick screw to hold them together before I use the milli putt on it. So, I buy these heavy duty screws and I just cut them and then I stick them in there.
So what? So how do you?
They're always nice and tight.
So how do you screw the upper to the? So how do you screw the upper to the lower?
I'll show you in a minute. Hold on one second.
And that looks like
What are you
Jose.
doing that? Jose,
Yeah.
someone says, I'm not sure who this is. Maybe you can tell me, Brutus, but someone says, to center my head placement, I do something similar. I usually measure it off the ears and mark where they land and drill a hole between the marks.
That is, of course, another master. That's Caleb Langford.
Oh, g'day, Caleb. I can't see your name, mate, but thanks for watching. Good tip from Caleb there.
I've found the figure if you guys want to see it.
Okay.
It was I was working on a Tully Blanchard, and you see the knee pads are heat shrink. So
Okay, yeah.
you could use the same product for the wristbands. You see I made the wristbands with putty, but it's a bit it looks thick compared to this, which is very thin. And
That looks like spandex. That's good stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. It's amazing.
How does it take paint? Do you have to gesso it, or what do you do?
Yeah, I always gesso my figures first all the time, whether they're resin or rubber, and then just paint over it. I did a Sid Vicious once where I had the elbow pads made with that product, and it came out perfect. It doesn't come off once it's stuck. I mean, it's pretty stuck because there's glue inside as well.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. Did you put super glue inside as well?
No, it's. I found one because I get it from work as well because I work with electronics. But I bought a set once on Amazon, and the one on Amazon had some extra glue inside that would come out of the border. So you just cut off the glue, so it's really stuck inside once it's placed. And at the end when you seal it, well, then that's it.
Awesome little tip. I might have to try that one myself. That's why we love this community. We're all sharing our knowledge with each other. You never know too much to not learn something. I think this might be Caleb again, is it, Brutus? If we're redoing the hair, if redoing the hair, just put head where you want to drill it and drill all the way through. That's Caleb as well, is it?
No, that's my fashion advisor, Michael Williams.
Weems. G'day, Mike. Thanks for watching. Good
He's
little
watching
tip.
because we've got our daylight savings gone, so he's allowed to stay up.
You don't miss someone cutting their finger. Not yet. Someone's had a previous cut. So it is Claudio. We're hoping for no more cuts on the show, but if there is, we may have to give a warning label on this so the kids don't get freaked out. Maybe Dwight cut his finger when he's high as a kite. Dwight's never high.
I'm never high. Look at me. I'm just watching people work on their figures.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of glad that we decided to do this on the show because I've been wanting to do this figure for so long. It's been just there staring at me. I'm like, you know what? I'll take the opportunity to do it while we're on the podcast.
So that's Joey. Okay, that's how you do it, eh, Joey? He's on mute, man.
He's not on mute, is he? Unmute. Hey.
It's not going to come out at all. Then what I do is just put the top piece where I want to put it, press just a very little bit so it leaves a little mark so that I don't know if you can see it, but there's a mark right there.
Yep.
And I just start a hole with a drill. And then just screw it right on and it'll be nice and tight.
You know what, Joey? I do it the exact same way, and I've actually got the exact same drill. And then you whack
there you go.
whack a bit of super glue in there, do you, mate?
No, because I use Millie put on the outside anyway.
Since you're in Australia, does the wheel spin the other way?
Yeah. See, I do mine different. What do I attach the upper to lower? See how I did mine here? I screw from the top of the shoulder blade right into the feet. So the way I want it, so I draw right from the top before. Oh, sorry. I draw right from the top right to this foot, and then from this shoulder, it goes down.
Down.
But what do you use? A giant like a 3-inch screw?
Yeah. I just take it from work, a couple of screws, and it just goes literally from his shoulder right down to his leg.
Do you ever have it popping out of his back of his leg or something where you've got on an angle?
No, it never goes. It goes like I choose the way I want it to go, and then it goes right into the body. So I never have to glue. So I never have to try to position it right, to screw it in. I just screw it right from the shoulder, and then I put the head with a screw already.
Yep.
And I just twist it in. I already had it in place.
That's awesome.
And then it's quick because you don't have to put a screw. You know when you twist it, because sometimes you're off centered a little bit to this side, to that side. Like shit, I should have more. This way you put it. Sorry, fuck. You position it to the thing, and then you screw from the shoulder down, and then you don't have to use super glue. Then you put the head. It's quick.
Yeah,
What have
that's
you
cool.
guys got against super glue? What have you guys got against super glue?
Because I always get it on my fingers.
I don't like it because it's messy.
Yeah, because
You
this
just-
way I found it easier. I just use 2 screws, and it's just as tight. It look, you can't get it out.
Super glue is brittle to me.
Right?
Hey, Dort, do you have like one of the screws right there before like what it looks like?
Yeah, it's in the garage, but I'm not going downstairs.
Oh, okay.
It's a long screw. A long
Yeah.
screw.
Think about this. It went from Big John Stud's shoulders into Valentine's ass.
And you don't put a hole all the way through?
No, I just drill down, like I position how I want, and then I just drill it,
Taps.
and then afterwards it's right there, and then you just screw it down, then you do the other one. It's positioned
Nice.
right, so it's much easier. So you never have to do it, right? You don't have to cut. You don't have to cut a screw or anything. You don't have to use a grinder because you just love using those power tools, right? And making noise. So you just screw it right down to the to one leg, and then you screw it to the other leg from both shoulder blades, and then I screw the head.
Nice.
Did you think
I
of
like
that
it.
yourself? Or did someone tell you about it?
No, I did it myself because I hated it. I hated how it would never center. I'd have to do it like 3, 4, 5 times. I'm like, this is fucking annoying. I'm like, there's got to be a different way. And I was like, what if I just screw from the top down? And that was it. And then I
There you
had
go.
screws. It's not like I'm paying for the screws, so like, it's all right.
You don't pay for a screw?
No, why not? Get it for free.
I was about to jump over the Texas rattlesnake, but he's gone to deal with the barking dog, I think. So we'll shoot on over to Mark.
I'm sculpting another wristband.
So
So
this is like
You missed it.
yeah?
I seen the neck on here. The neck that I had kind of showed. But there you go. So I just seamed that up. So it hides the line. Normally on this style figure, I don't normally seam these, but I went ahead and did it for this just for the example. But because I usually leave the arm articulation and everything on these. But for like an LJN, I'd go ahead and seam it up like that.
Interesting. Rocky Barker, Irish fan Rock 34. Hold on, I'll get to that in 1 second. We need him to give us a heads up. It's awesome to see all you guys sharing your tricks and tips now. I remember back in the day when nobody would share anything. The work
Right.
you guys doing is just amazing. Well, that's a great comment, and that's exactly how I feel. Back in the day, people wanted to keep their secrets close to them. Right now, we are all about just sharing everything and letting the community grow. What do you guys think?
I think that's exactly it. I mean, if it wasn't for
Yeah.
you guys, most of you sharing secrets, I would have never, even tried to start. So for me, it's fantastic. for let's say someone new that starts like this and just asks you guys and you're willing to help, I found that super cool. So when people ask me for tips, it's a pleasure. There's nothing to hide really. I mean, it's not a multi-million-dollar secret, so
Yeah.
why not? I mean,
Right.
why not?
I like when there was a guy named Step that used to he used to make the rubber LJNs, and he had just a really really bad attitude. So I kind of like to kind of rub it into him a little bit and kind of piss him off. But he wouldn't share anything. You'd ask him, and I fortunately I knew a lot of his technique just because my experience with it. And so somebody would ask him a question and be like, "How do you do this?" And he would give him kind of attitude and be like, "I'm not sharing my secrets because it's my moneymaker." And it'd be like, "All right, well, I'm gonna come back behind you and tell him exactly how to do it." And it would piss him off. He would delete his post and then he'd repost again later on, and then I'd just comment again and same thing and be like, "Here's how you do it." And the dude would get so mad, but it's kind of worth it because he was being a dick about it with everybody. Like he had a very bad attitude and he acted like he was the owner of all the recipes, and if you made a figure that looked similar to what he did, he would call you out on it and like try to get it pulled off eBay and all sorts of stuff because he claimed that he owned the art likeness or something like that, and it was all sorts of ridiculousness. And,
Well, the way I look at it is this way: if I was the only customizer out there customizing these things, it would be no fun. There'd be no interest, and it
right?
wouldn't happen. So the more of
I
us that
agree.
are involved, the bigger and better it is. And when you've got guys like Kevin Swales and Claudio and yourself and Joey Baggs, everyone, you got Caleb, you got Alan Carpenter, the list goes on and on of these guys doing amazing customs, then it kind of makes you want to lift your game up a little more too, and
Right.
that's the fun part about it. You see that and you think, wow, I want to do something like that, or that's a great idea to do that. We all share off each other. We're all in this community together, and that's what makes it fun,
I'm
I
glad
agree.
my friends that customize aren't dicks because I copy some people,
Oh,
And when people imitate me or make something similar to mine because of me, I take it as a compliment. I
Right?
don't get hurt about it.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
in the flattery. So,
You guys ever done any plumbing
no?
a little.
with
Well,
copper pipe? When you heat up the solder and you touch the copper fittings, it
Yeah.
wraps all the way around. If you're not going to do the screw-on method and you're just doing skewers or bamboo sticks, if you put a drop of glue under the chin, it'll wrap all the way around the neck automatically, and that'll give it an extra hold. But after you got the head glued on, I'm building up his chin right now. But it's got the bamboo skewer glued in on both ends. The head's actually glued to the shoulders, and it's going to have epoxy all the way around. So that head ain't going nowhere. And the head that I used, if you've seen one of these Arco sumo wrestlers, that's what the head looked like before I made it a mask.
Is
ah,
that nice?
And this is what I used to make Yokozuna.
I was gonna ask about that. That's the
Yeah.
body, right?
Yeah, they're about 8 inches tall.
Oh,
But these are great if you want to make like Abdullah the Butcher or Yokozuna. They're articulated, so you gotta get it where you want.
Mm.
And then glue the seams.
hey, Kevin, we've got a question here for you from Shad. He wants to know if you're entering the next event.
Oh yeah.
You are?
Yeah.
As the champion, I was hoping you'd say no.
you've got nothing to worry about. I have to face him.
Oh, Kevin's in so much form with his customs at the moment. He can't do anything wrong, and sometimes
And he's doing those accessories like those robes and stuff like that, right?
Those are cool.
yeah.
Oh yeah. My mom is a master seamstress. So if anybody needs any robes or jackets or kilts or skirts or any kind of soft goods, she can come through with it.
Oh man,
Okay.
that's
That'd be
on
crazy. That'd be crazy to see the Ric Flair, that black and white one. I think is
The
that.
butterfly robe,
Yeah, that one. That'd be cool to see that one.
that would be cool.
Yeah, wow. That's something we've been missing in the community. So anyone who wants robes, contact Kevin Swales, and he might be able to get the job done for you.
Any
Kevin,
soft
don't,
goods.
don't be shocked if I actually do write to you.
I actually, on that Carrie Von Erich, she made that jacket for me.
It came out really nice.
She
Really,
took
really
the,
nice.
it's like gold
came out great.
sequin material. Because he actually wore like a gold sequin jacket, and then she hand stitched his name in cursive, which I was pretty impressed by.
That looks
was
awesome.
very-
Oh, that was all
Yeah.
hand stitched.
Yeah.
Oh man,
So
I thought it was like
you and your mum are now doing collaborations. That's brilliant. Do you know Dwight does
Yeah.
collaborations with his girlfriend? Don't you, Dwight?
Yeah, she does the shading, but she recently doesn't want to do it anymore because I pressure her to do so many. She's like, "You don't make it fun anymore." I'm like, "Let's do another one." So now I have to do it myself. But now that I'm doing it myself, it's pretty damn easy. So it's not that bad.
Look, it is. You
It's
use
good.
you use pastels for that, correct?
Yeah, I
'Cause
use I use chalk pastels and I just brush it in, and then afterwards, like I put it around like definition around like any muscles or whatever. If it's like this Hogan I did here, I don't know if you could see it. It was one of your casts that I got from you, and then I don't know if you could see the shading.
Yeah,
I thought you could see it, but
Oh, I can see it.
and then I did the shading around the face as well. So I use more pastel, so it kind of gives like a different tone, but you can't see it with a goddamn light.
so. Wait a
I
minute.
used to actually use pastels all the time for that. Going back
And
a
then
year
also
ago.
for the nipples as well, like I put like the brown and then whatever.
How do you guys do it? The pastels? I mean, you like grade it and then you just brush it on, or what?
Yeah, like
Yes.
I use it like on a cardboard, like I brush the chalk
Okay.
pastels, and then I got the different brush, and then just like dab the area, and then just blow it off, and then it stays.
Oh, nice.
That's how you
Okay.
get the. Fuck, there.
You've got to use a very dry brush though,
Very
because
dry.
if there's any water at all on the brush, it's just not going to work. And
That's
if
weird,
you
isn't it?
try that, my advice is make it subtle to start off with. You can always build it up, but if you go in too hard too early, then you just got to take it all back off.
Yeah. It's pretty easy though. But yeah, I collaborated with my girlfriend, and then she just got mad because I'm like, "Come on, can you just do another one?" She's like, "No, not another one." You're like, "There's already and then she's like, "You got to learn. It's too damn easy."
Okay, so someone's also asking here, where can we order clothing? If you didn't just catch it, it's this good-looking fella on the end here. His name's Kevin Swales. If you look up on Facebook, Kevin Swales, he might be able to get the job done for you. So hit him up. Hopefully his mum doesn't get too engulfed with orders now, and she might get sick of making clothes.
She just started doing Roddy Piper kilts, and she's actually putting the pleats in it, the little folds.
Nice.
Because he just had a wraparound, and it doesn't look like a kilt.
Very good point. Brutus, we haven't heard much from you today. Can you ask some questions to the guys or get involved in this podcast before your battery runs out?
He's watching them work.
I'm watching them work.
Oh, he's tired.
We've had a discussion before. If you want to learn, you shut up and listen.
Yeah.
Hear that? That's wise
Yeah.
words right there.
But the trouble is we're the co-hosts, and if we shut up and just listen, then basically the show's all over the place.
Yeah,
So
well,
I
I
want you to ask
can't really talk about the process, and I'm learning about the process. So, and what we've had is we've got different approaches to it, and so I think people who know what they're doing, like you and Dwight, you're the people who should be asking those technical questions. What I can add is for any people watching out there who say, "Oh, when I buy a custom, why does it cost X amount of dollars?" Well, if you've just seen the amount of time Claudio put into one set of tassels on one boot, I think there's your answer there.
Yeah.
That's very, 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 very important thing
And
for people to understand.
And while Brutus was watching, because remember, he's making book number 2. So when he's writing about the book, he could talk about techniques. So right there, he's learning and he's getting knowledge of what to write. So there you go.
Any quick updates with book number 2, Brutus, or is it happening?
He's working on it. He's dabbling here and there. He's got the missing link. He's got the missing link.
Yeah, haven't done any more. I have been writing a lot, but I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I have at least 19 books to do this year and the same amount next year. And I won't know until about mid-year where I sit with that. But, you know, who knows?
What are your other 19 books about?
School.
They're education books.
Okay.
Numeracy,
So
literacy,
boring.
work skills, personal development skills. Yeah, they're not about wrestling and
Exactly.
wrestling figures.
Oh, still pretty cool.
If anybody's starting out doing customs, I recommend that you wash the figure first because just handling it a bunch, getting your skin oil all over it, it does have an effect on the way it holds paint. Because you're going to get oil all over it just from handling it. And that
And
does
you
make the paint not stick.
Use gesso as well on yours, Kevin?
No, I just wash it with Dawn dish soap, put them together, sand it, put them, get it all smoothed out, and then just paint at least 3 coats of each color.
Right.
I just
That's
acetone. I clean it with acetone the whole thing because I just grabbed the jug from work.
More stuff from work.
Let them take it from work.
Once I found that once I triple Mod Podge it, it doesn't lose color or anything. So I could prime it. I prime some things like yellow. Yellow and red is a bitch. So
Oh man, yeah.
I use primer before I do yellow or red, but most of the time I don't have a problem with paint sticking.
Right. Have you ever thought of letting Dougie help you with shading?
It's a friend of mine. He's watching. He's talking about my dog.
Oh, your friend's watching.
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome to the podcast, what friend?
And I think my brother, my younger brother, watches it on YouTube. He thinks
Does
it's
he really?
he thinks
Give him a shout out.
he thinks it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, him and my nephew and they always watch me. I'm like, why?
Does your brother ever try to make figures?
No, not ever. He doesn't even like wrestling.
Here's a quick shout out for Claudio. Claudio is amazing. He's come a long way in a short time.
Yeah,
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, guys.
How
And user.
Is that one of your friends too, Claudio, that said that?
I don't think so.
No, it's
Not sure.
it's Caleb. It says over there. They're from Caleb.
I can't see names.
No, it says right there. He rates himself. Both names comments are from Caleb.
Okay. If you do want us to
cool,
see
thanks.
your name pop up, there's a little link that I put up every week in the thing. So yeah, love to see your name pop up. I look forward to his work and Swale's work as well.
Yeah.
Both comments from Caleb. Well, he spelled it out for me. Thanks, Caleb. I'm just a little bit slow. Speaking of custom figures, what do I need to ask for to get a heavier figure? Heavier?
Lots of sculpting.
Yeah.
What do I need to ask?
Heavier figure? What? As in heavy?
Are you looking for like a fat guy, or are you looking for something that weighs more? Because the more you sculpt on it, the heavier it weighs. It's going to weigh a lot when you add a sculpt into it.
That's
Yeah,
right.
my
If there's a boxy on it, it's going to weigh more.
My Yokozuna was not more of a just a figure, it was a weapon as well that you can knock someone out with if you want.
Oh yeah,
It serves 2 purposes.
Like a 10-pound object.
yeah. Like Nick Hales made me a Yokozuna. It fell off the thing, and I put my foot so it wouldn't drop. Man, did it hurt! It's a heavy figure.
Shane Mifsud, he's a good friend of mine, another Aussie dude. He's got a massive custom collection. Do you guys put any clear once you've finished the figure? Now, this is going to change between rubber, for me anyway, rubber and resin. But I'll let you guys shoot an answer if you like.
I usually spray it. Like I never use the Mod Podge. I spray it. I use it's a can of the name is I think it's Krylon, and it's a matte finish. And all depending, I go from a matte finish spray,
This one.
or I go that one. Yeah, that's when I showed them. Yeah, that's what I showed you, right? Or
Yeah.
I go with the glossy one. It's a smaller can. It all depends if I want a glossy look or like a matte look. So I change it up because just like that, my figures like all different, right? But I feel like the matte spray, you just go around it. Like I usually go around the figure twice around slow, about like a foot away, and then it gives like that look. I can't fucking do it.
Yep. Okay, so I'm guessing you and Claudio use the same shit.
Well, I've used this. What happened is I used the spray on resin figures. It worked well, but on my rubber figures, after a few weeks, it started forming like a sticky film. So that's when I started using Mod Podge again.
Yeah, man,
So I had to
100%. It does
so
on mine too.
I had to repaint Vader. One of my I had to repaint it.
I use the Mod Podge mat on everything because everything gets so sticky when I spray it on. It might be the humidity where I live. I live in the South.
Mhm.
Very humid here. So the spray on is no good for me.
I'll tell you the other advantage for Mod Podge. It may not look as smooth, but you tend to make yours look very smooth, Kevin, unless you're taking photos before you Mod Podge it. But what I find is with the spray on rubber figures, if it doesn't send it a funny looking gloss like stickiness feeling, after a little while, it also starts to have little fine cracks in it from the movement of the rubber. I don't know if you guys have experienced this or not, but I definitely have. Mark, what about yourself?
I use Rust-Oleum matte spray, but I haven't done a whole lot of solid rubber LJN, so I don't know how well it works on stickiness. But the ones I did for the custom competition, I didn't have any stickiness with it. With Krylon, I was using Krylon years ago because I would always get stickiness from it. So I don't, and also the heavier gloss sheen you use, the more stickiness you'll get on that rubber. So it can be okay with the matte sometimes, but the gloss is usually going to give you a sticky on that rubber. So the Mod Podge is probably good on solid rubber better.
Now I'll tell you something else. If you have two figures Mod Podged and they touch each other, they will stick to each other. Because I tried storing some in a bucket and they were all touching arms.
Yeah.
Every time I pulled them apart, and it was pulling paint chunks and everything.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh, the nightmare! Oh, this is why I deal with resin, guys. I will use rubber at times, but for me, I just find resin so much easier to work with. And they're going on the shelf. I'm not touching them or playing with them anyway because they're a custom figure. So that's the way I work. But we've got this other question. But it's the same guy who asked before about the light figure. So I've got to figure that it weighed next to nothing, like a hollow plastic. So that was obviously a 3D hollow figure.
So like he's talking about what, a 3D print that it's hollow and he wants to make it heavier?
Yeah, those shits are like a honeycomb.
Maybe I'm guessing that to make it heavier, I guess make two holes on the bottom of the foot. And I guess pour some type of liquid that hardens, I guess, to make it heavier.
Like a casting resin in there and let it harden.
Just let it go, like drill from underneath if it's hollow, right? I'm assuming you do that for weight.
Drill from the top of the head, pour resin inside it. If the arms are pointing downwards, upwards, then the resin probably won't go up the arms because they'll catch air. But what do you reckon, Mark?
I would pour like casting resin in there. Like he said, drill some holes in the bottom of it and turn it upside down and just pour some casting resin in there. That stuff usually dries in about 10 minutes and doesn't really expand or anything. So I wouldn't fill it on all the top, but fill it in there maybe about 75%. Make sure you don't get any expansion. And then if it gets good and solid, you can always fill the last little bit afterwards.
Okay, I'll throw in my little tip there for you too. If you are going to pour casting resin inside it and drill a hole and do that, okay, if the arms are up, drill from the bottom, from the foot down, because it's going to pour straight down into the arms. If the arms are pointing down, pour from the top, and that way it's going to pour down. But it will catch bubbles otherwise if they're facing the wrong direction. If one arm's up, one arm's down, then you're fucked.
And you may not need to fill. I mean, if he's just trying to weight, filling half of it may even be fine.
Yeah.
So it could be enough to get.
That's why I would do that. That's why I would do the feet. So
what if the bushwhackers and then you're in trouble?
Well, there's ways around it. You can drill a hole so it lets air out. So if you're drilling a hole and the arm's up and you're pouring from the top, and when the resin gets to there, it's going to stop because there's air in there. But if there's a hole in there, it'll keep going up until it reaches that hole, and then it's going to pour out. There's ways around things. There's a million ways to do things, but it depends how technical you want to get. We got a bit far with that question, but probably just keep it hollow, mate. If you haven't dealt with resin before, it might be just easy to keep that one hollow.
I have an internet question for you, for everyone.
No,
Why
come
don't you
out.
just buy Mattel figures?
Say hi.
Hi.
What?
Why what?
Say hello.
What was the question?
Okay, come on.
What are
Why
you
don't
buying?
you just buy Mattel figures?
Come on, buddy.
Mattel.
You gonna finish this for me?
Because I have the whole set of WWE Legends Mattel figures, and they're stuck in a box somewhere.
Go out over there. Go out that door. Open door.
When they all
Now
came
we
out,
Now we know why Kevin Smiles Customs are so good. He's got a little helper.
All right.
Now, the question was framing what a lot of people sometimes ask online when a customizer puts up a work, and then you get a number of comments, and then someone will say, "Why don't you just buy an Elite? You know, if you want a Big John stud."
where's the fun in it though?
Why don't you just shut the hell up? You know? Because I like everyone on the show likes the LJN line, so they always wanted guys that never got made. So they wanted
There you go.
Big John stud. Boom. You make a Big
Boom.
John stud. Why? Why not? If you don't like it, shut it.
You make a
It's
Mario Mancini.
I'm addicted to making unknown people and
Yeah.
people that should have had figures.
Should have had
Yeah, like-
figures, yeah. Apparently,
Oh, yeah.
Mario Mancini went to Vince McMahon. This is secondary reporting. I don't know this. I heard this. And said, you should make a figure of me and it should come with a stretcher. But I can see Jose Luis Riviera there on the left. Started as Mac Riviera and, of course, Conquistador 1 and also the Red Demon. Cousin Luke, who replaced Cousin Junior. First, I think he did one match in 1985 and then in 1986. French-Canadian wrestler who got the job because he trained barefoot. So, because he trained barefoot, he was able to wrestle barefoot. And Mario Mancini, who was just a kid, he was only 20 when he started in the WWF and used to get squashed quite a lot on Mario. And I think he became a security guard, had his own security firm.
Hey, Zosh.
Yo,
These are the feet I got off your website.
okay.
Whose feet are those?
Right.
Is that Billy Jack Haynes?
His
That's
feet.
Yeah, the feet. Is it Billy Jack Haynes?
no, they're bare feet.
Bare feet.
Oh, bare
Oh, the
feet.
best feet.
Oh, they
Okay.
got Haku feet.
So who are you making there?
Cousin Luke.
Yeah, this one's gonna be Cousin Luke. I'm gonna give him a belly, with Millie Putt, and I'm gonna give him this head, but I gotta finish grinding off all his hair and his beard.
That's looking really cool, man. And I'm very impressed, Joey, that you're hand sculpting faces and heads. That's something that's not done very often these days. They're all 3D printed or sculpted faces. I'm looking forward to seeing how they turn out.
Yeah, definitely. I'll show you within the next couple of days for sure.
Yeah, you guys all move so damn quick with your customs. It makes me feel like I'm so slow with mine. Speaking of fast movers, Mark, what's happening?
I'm kind of done with what I was doing.
Yeah.
Both wrists. This elbow pad is not how I want it. I'm probably going back and fix that, but I'm just going to mix some more putty and sculpt over on top of that real quick. But everything else, probably the top of that elbow pad's a little bit weird too, so I'll probably add a little bit more there. But everything else is to my liking for the most part. So
Looking
almost
excellent.
ready for paint.
You're the king of pads. Mate, that's fantastic. Claudio,
Yes,
there's all your stuff gone. All I can see is a hand. Here we go.
I'm gonna finish this wall. I'm gonna let this one dry now.
Yep.
Then I just have to add another wrist. What I have here, another fist.
Yep.
And then I'll do my my little wristband trick with the heat shrink, but I'll do that later. I'm gonna start working on my Mark Henry right now.
Dude, put that hand on. What are you going to do? Are you going to drill holes in each side, or?
For the arms.
Well, I was talking about the hand that you just had, but you.
Oh
can
yeah,
tell us-
yeah, exactly. What I do is I think I use the same trick as what Kevin said. I think it was Kevin that mentioned. He just marks it here with a marker, and then press it on, and then just drill a little hole and put a little those little 1-inch nails, one side in here, one side there, and then just glue it and put putty around it, and then put the wristband around it.
Hey, Claudio,
Yeah.
Did you cut your finger doing that Bundy?
Yes. I cut my finger shaving off those sights like I
I
was
know.
saying.
I guaranteed. I know. Guaranteed. That's how the finger got. I was looking at that Bundy. I'm like, that's where the finger got cut. He was cutting that Bundy.
Yeah, because these are the arms I want to use. I want to use the RCD arms to put one going down and one giving the nation motion like this.
Yeah.
So I
Well, that'll
shaved
be
it off, and I shaved it off. The way I kind of shaved it off is I use my knife this way, right, going this way.
Ah.
And I
Uh-huh.
usually wear my gloves. But I don't know what happened, why, what came over me. I didn't, and
I cut my finger once, and it never happened again. Mainly because I was watching TV and I was cutting at the same time, and that was the last time I cut in front of the TV.
and
I think muting Joey, and I actually forgot to unmute him for a while, and for about half an hour, I realized he was on mute. So I apologize for that, Joey, if you were talking to us at any time during the podcast. Are you going to put them arms on for us now quickly?
yeah, I'm gonna just do one right now.
Okay. Let's stick with Claudio on this one so you guys can see how he puts an arm on. So he's drawing a dot. He's going to press it up against where he wants it to be.
Exactly. So you see now the dot is on both sides, and I use armature wire. I've used these because I used to fix superhero statues too. I used to buy them broken and fix them, and by surfing the web, I realized that's how they did it. So. I do the same here, but this one I have to do it at an angle. So Duarte, get ready. I might slip and actually pierce my hand. Huh.
Have you ever drilled through your finger?
Not yet, actually. Not yet. Well, not while doing figures, anyways.
It's happened to me a few times.
I'm sure it's not fun.
Hey Zash, when's your line coming out with your next line? The figures.
It's I don't know at this stage. It's a daunting process, and I've been avoiding the whole thing for a little while. I've had people asking about it, but right now it's just something I can't mentally tackle.
Mm-hmm.
I won't say I'll never do it, but it's
Takes a lot out of you.
And there you go. That's one arm.
Zach, I don't know how you crank out so many figures that you do.
Yeah, well, I've definitely slowed down of late, which is a good thing.
And eventually, well, probably later, I'll just change, just to give him a bit of height. I'll cut off his legs and put Orndorff legs because they fit well.
Really?
They're a bit taller. They're a bit taller. Not the legs, just under the knee. I'll keep the knee pad, but just under the knee. That's what I actually did for my Chris Benoit. The Chris Benoit, I got a Haku clone off eBay, a resin clone, and I had some Morocco bottoms. So what I did is I just cut off his legs and actually put the Morocco boots on the bottom.
Okay, awesome. Well, we're gonna wrap the show up. We're gonna quickly go around the grounds with everyone. Mark Cochran, he's just smoothing off his elbow pads, which he's not happy with. It's such a big process. Look at that. He's even putting the little side bits in. Brilliant. He's minor details, you see, that people might take for granted. Takes a long time. This is all a part and parcel of the process of customizing. Doing little tiny things that you know is there, but maybe other people won't pick up. And Joey, how you doing, buddy?
I'm down to just gonna be shaving these guys' heads off once we're done and start attaching heads.
Okay, well, you've got a fair bit done there. I love the look of Cousin Luke. He's looking fantastic. Kevin, anything you want to finish up on?
I just showed you how to attach. I'm doing a preview of how it's going to look with the mask.
Nice.
I like to do a rough draft.
Yeah.
After I glue the stick into the body and into the head, Put a drop of super glue on the chin area. It automatically wraps around, gives you extra strength. I'm done with the clay all the way around. I'll smooth that out. Got the double chin built up. And this is going to be mostly black, so I'll finish it fast. Black mask, black clothes, black boots. I just got to make them a fur vest. And you'll have a awesome Kong.
It's looking beautiful. Loving it. I'm going to finish up the questions. One of you guys should attempt.
Should have
Drum roll.
I don't know if this is the same person. I can't see names, but Joey Baggs, enjoy making Macho Men.
No
That's-
Macho Man.
That's Christopher Tryon.
Yeah. Did Joey make a Macho Man?
I think they're making a joke because of the way they were standing.
Love it. Have you guys ever made a China? I feel like that would be a difficult one
I
to make.
feel like someone's done it. I think someone has done it. I can't remember who, but someone
Yeah,
has
I've seen
done it.
one. I've
Seen
seen
one.
I'm
one.
using Ken Patera.
Yeah,
In
Has it
Patera.
and for terror.
I've seen one with Snuka, and they just added the
Yes.
chest. That's the one I saw. I actually saw it today because I was looking for.
I made Ronda Rousey from some of the male round 5 figures back in the day. But
He was jacked.
Yeah. Definitely. Question for Joey. When you grind out Hillbilly's beard and attach the head, it seems to leave a deep space. Is it just a matter of using epoxy to fill it?
Yeah, I would say so. I've never totally done Hillbilly's beard and reattach that head. I won't be doing that. But yeah, I use Milliput to fill in any of that.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for sharing your tips and tricks. Any tips on doing hair, sculpting hair? My tip would personally be just mold the shape you want in epoxy and get something that's not overly fine to do the grooves in the hair.
Yeah.
That's what I find works well for me. But I'm gonna throw this
And you
question
try to
over
match it with.
yeah, I think two guys on this panel do unbelievable hair. One of them's Mark and one of them's Kevin. So Mark, what are your thoughts about doing hair? I can see you're
so, like what you just said, I get the shape and smooth it out and kind of get everything shaped how I want it, and then I just use the blunt. I use the blunt side of my X-Acto knife, and I use it to kind of press it in, and sometimes I'll wiggle it a little bit if I want wider grooves. But sometimes it's just a matter of just kind of hitting it and just kind of like making little divots and stuff. Depending on the length of hair. If I get the short hair, you can just kind of use the point of it and just make divots. If you're doing long hair, then take it and roll it in lines and try to make the lines as short as possible in certain areas. And then depending on what you're doing, you may want to add some waviness or curls, or you can add that texture in after you do the main lines.
I was going to say that as well. It's kind of like you don't want to just have straight lines. You want to add a bit of wave and follow the flow of the shape of the hair that you've done. I actually use the back of a butter knife because I find it's a good thickness. If I use a knife or something, it's just too fine and it kind of looks untidy. Whereas if you use something thicker like the back of a butter knife, you can flow around with it too and make sure it's wet, because if it's wet, it will flow through it a lot better. Kevin, can I quickly ask your thoughts on that? Because I noticed you sculpt a bit of hair on that latest Kevin Von Erich figure.
I take a wet fingertip and do the shape that I want, and then I come in with the bamboo skewer. You see how sharp that is? It's like a toothpick, but it's big enough to hold like that.
Yeah.
Then you can get in there, just fucking.
Those work perfectly.
Yep.
Hey,
Brilliant.
Kevin, do you have a preferred brand of bamboo skewers to go with the Loctite?
But if the clay is wet, the skewer is strong enough where it's not going to snap like a toothpick will.
Yeah.
And the tip is actually sharper since it's longer, and you can get some real good hair detail. But the first thing I do is take a wet fingertip and shape it, because hair overlaps and curls under and over.
Yeah.
Yep. Great advice. Well, that kind of wraps things up. Russell Kelly's done a China. So I want to thank everyone for watching the podcast.
Yeah.
And if you enjoyed it, let us know. We'll do another one of these in the coming weeks/months. Kevin will be joining us on our next podcast, I believe, as well. We've got a little surprise on that one. We've got another wrestler, ex-wrestler, coming on the podcast. That is in
Very cool.
2 weeks. He'll be coming on with Kevin Swales. He's organized this whole thing for us. So we're looking forward to that. We've got another ex-wrestler coming on the podcast in 2 weeks with Kevin Swales. Make sure you watch that, guys. And we want to thank you all for watching this podcast, and we'll see you all next time.
Thank you.